What's up, guys? It's Smokey Massacre right here. We've got HunterUnit751 and DHG Fireball, two guys on the opposite spectrums of Tournament 20, and we're going to be doing some Tournament 20 analysis for Halo Ninja Warrior. So, welcome back, Hunter. Your third analysis video with me.
Good to be back.
And we've got Fireball, a new guy to the analysis.
Hello.
We're going to jump into it. For the last few analysis videos, we took a lot of time on each stage. Today we're going to try to speed it up a little bit by just focusing on our biggest takeaways from each stage. So we'll all go right through it, and I think it is very fitting to have Hunter kick us off with his biggest takeaway from stage 1. So Hunter, what do you got?
Well, you know, it was a big deal, I think, but I think we have to talk about Wolf Ninja being... Oh, no, wait, sorry. My biggest takeaway, other than my own personal performance, which, by the way, click the link in the description.
You're an idiot.
One of the biggest things I took from the first stage was honestly the variety of competitors that we had getting deep into stage 1. We saw a lot of the old faces from the last few tournaments that have done well, but I was really surprised by the level of new competitors that had like really good tournaments. People like Talking King getting really far. Obviously Petrillo beating stage 1 on his debut was very unexpected. King Sparkety doing well again. Noodles almost beating stage 1. That was the thing that really stood out for me. The amount of new faces that did well on stage 1.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. So actually I looked at the stats. In Tournament 19, 37 people got past the TIE Fighter. In Tournament 20, 50 people got past the TIE Fighter. So there's a 13 competitor gap. That means half the tournament at least got to the Jumping Kai in Tournament 20, which is very impressive. So yeah, my biggest takeaway on stage 1, while yes, there were a lot of people who did very well, I was also shocked by two obstacles in particular. The two obstacles I want to focus on put up two of the lowest percentages in terms of clears in the course's history. That would be the Crooked Wall and, surprisingly, the Dragon Glider, which had a lower clear rate than the Crooked Wall. Everyone's talking about the Crooked Wall from that tournament because of what happened to yourself, Hunter, and then to so many other talented veterans, but that Dragon Glider also did a lot of damage. So yeah, the Dragon Glider, 13 people cleared it out of the 22 that got to it, so it had a 59% clear rate. On Halo Ninja Warrior, that is extremely low. So yeah, those two obstacles made the tournament very interesting, so hopefully they will continue to make the course interesting. But Fireball, what was your biggest takeaway on stage 1?
Coming in Halo 5, there have been a bunch of great competitors, people that have had great performances and not really bad performances. But there have been these, I know there's 3 guys that, you know, haven't failed a Halo 5 stage 1 yet. Go Tanks, Pixel, and me, myself, Fireball. A guy like Pixel, who's had, I mean, he's had ups and downs on stage 1 in the past, so, like, I guess you wouldn't expect him to be a guy that's going to come in Halo 5 and beat every stage 1. Go Tanks, on the other hand, an all-star. You can't expect that from him. It is a little bit shocking that someone like Connor isn't in that list of people that haven't failed a stage 1, as it was his first stage 1 fail. But I want to know how long this streak could go on for future Halo 5 tournaments, that these 3 guys could keep going strong without failing a stage 1.
It's one of those things where, again, like if you went to someone and you said, pick 3 people that you think you could do this, you know, again, you and Go Tanks, pretty understandable, but then there's other people like myself, maybe even Puma.
I mean, let's be fair, that, like, to be in that category.
Yeah, you'd never have expected Pixel. Like his it's not just his stage 1 record on Halo 5. His stage 1 record overall is one of the best on the course out of all competitors. Obviously, he's had to make up a lot from where he started. You know, however many stage 1 failures in a row he had to begin with. But now he's just a solid competitor on stage 1, and it's just such a shame that he can't translate that into stage 2 success. But of course, that's a whole different story.
It is a whole different story, but stage 2 is where we are going to next, so that covers our stage 1 takeaways. Now for stage 2, I'm going to kick it off, and I'm going back to the numbers. This is one of the most interesting things that I looked up after the tournament ended, I realized that only 4 people in Tournament 20 made it to the metal spin. That's crazy. Only 4 people got past the solar swing. Obviously, only 2 of them cleared. Pixel failed the metal spin. Gotenks got past it, but timed out. But the last time that only 4 people made it to the metal spin was Tournament 8. So it's been 12 tournaments where more than 4 people got to the metal spin. The other lowest would have been in Tournament 14. Only 5 people made it there. All 5 of them got past it. Tournament 20, only 4 attempts. 3 of them cleared, but it's still one of the most feared obstacles on Stage 2. Just not a lot of people got to it this tournament.
Yeah, the more I think about it, Vulcan was the first guy to go in Stage 2, and he was obviously hugely disappointed with the way he went out on the solar swing. But to think that in the end, that still got him a 5th place.
I know.
For getting halfway through Stage 2, it just shows how tough the second stage, and I suppose to a certain degree, how tough the first stage was because of how many people didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just shows how tough the first 2 stages were in this tournament.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Fireball, what was your biggest takeaway on Stage 2?
Going into Stage 2, I think a lot of people took Stage 2 for granted in this tournament, honestly. I think the people that failed the salmon ladder in the tournament, I think easily those 3 people could have had a shot at beating Stage 2, which then puts a lot more people on Stage 3.
All of them been to Stage 3 in the past.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
as well.
I think they just took it for granted, took the obstacle too fast. Salmon ladder has been a deadly obstacle in previous tournaments, and it definitely showed in this one.
Yeah, the salmon ladder had a big tournament. All right, Hunter, what's your biggest takeaway on Stage 2?
Regretfully, I'm also wanting to talk about the fails as well, but I want to talk about it in a different sense. The brutality of the second stage in the last 2 tournaments, it has taken out, I want to say, 17 competitors in the last 2 tournaments. I think it was a little bit better in 19 because we had 3 first-time competitors clear Stage 2, so it was perhaps a little less noticeable. But this tournament, it was just crazy. Every obstacle, apart from the conveyor belt, took out a competitor. So you had a wide variety of fails. And just the time limit was also such a huge factor. I think the time limit perhaps had more of an impact than people realized. I think that's why you had failures like Rog and Atlantic getting off the salmon ladder. Or even Puma.
They felt rushed.
I knew Puma was really worried about the time limit on Stage 2. And you just ended up getting failures that you wouldn't expect to see.
So before we go into Stage 3, I got one last little fun stat for everyone. That was the lowest clear percentage on a Stage 2 ever. 2 out of 11. That was an 18% clear rate. The other lowest was Tournament 11, which was 2 out of 7.
Yeah.
Which was 28. It was almost 30%. All right. And that is Stage 1 and Stage 2 done. Now it's going to be a little hard to do this with 3 people, especially when only 2 people made it to Stage 3. But we're going to get into our biggest Stage 3 takeaways. So, Fireball, I will let you take it away.
Alrighty. So my brother Chris here. I don't think anybody thought that he was going to have that good tournament. I mean, people wanted him to, but he just hadn't had it yet. And, especially after that bloodbath on Stage 2, for Chris to get past it just shows how good of a jumper he really is. And then to put up a run, like getting to the vertical in it, it just shows how really good he is and how well he can do in the future. As you could tell from the video, Chris is extremely happy on how he failed. I mean, that's a very good tournament for Chris. Hopefully he can keep up those runs in the future, especially some more Stage 3s. I think Chris is a very good competitor, and you can have you could have some hope for him in the future. I think he could do pretty good.
I think it's a similar thing with Paddy, I think, in terms, because obviously he was talking about Paddy after the run. Paddy had just like a huge breakout tournament, and there was high hopes that he would take off after that. And I'm seeing some similarities to that with Chris. He's had a few good tournaments prior to this one, but this was really the breakout one, and he's hoping that there'll be plenty more great tournaments or performances to come in future tournaments.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Hunter, what was your biggest takeaway on Stage 3?
Well, since he talked about Chris, being super modest, I got to talk about Fireball. 6 prior attempts, 3 final obstacle attempts. Fireball finally brought it all together to make it to the final stage for the first time. Honestly, there's plenty of people out there that would have been gunning for Fireball. Not just to get to the final stage in this tournament, but just to get to the final stage period, because Fireball has absolutely deserved it. But that final jump, you know, it's just so brutal. I know all about failing the last obstacle. In more recent times, we've seen with Puma's struggles, you know, you can get there and then it can just all go wrong, and then it's just like, well, I'm not going to get to the final stage. I might never get there. But Fireball, to turn it around, to get there 3 tournaments in a row, and now to overcome it, it's just absolutely deserved.
It's coming from the guy that's done it 3 times. Failing it 3 times in a row, you definitely do lose some motivation. I lost some motivation. 18, I thought that was going to be the tournament. I didn't complete it. I failed it. 19, getting back there, failing it again. It's just like, it's just crushing. I honestly didn't think I was going to get back there in 20. But I did. People had hope in me, and this is the best feeling ever, getting back there and finally beating it, especially for the amount of times that I failed it in the past. This is a great feeling.
You have no idea what it was like watching that run from an outside perspective, seeing you get back there, like the feel, like knowing that if you failed that again, I can't imagine how bad that would have felt for you. So I was really hoping you got it, and you did. So that was a very rewarding moment in the course's history. And then for my biggest takeaway, so I mean, one you talked about Fireball, one you talked about Chris. There's not a whole lot left to talk about on stage 3. So the thing I'm actually going to talk about, it might sound like a joke at first, but I'm actually being kind of serious about this, was the intros. So both Chris and Fireball, when they did their, when they were stepping up to stage 3, there was all sorts of people in the starting platform, just kind of there to, like, you know, cheer on their fellow competitors. You know, you two were the only ones left standing. And it was just great to see that while so many people had tournaments that they were disappointed in and things didn't go their way, but they were still there standing right by your guys' side. You know, Chris and Fireball, they were right there for you and watched the tournament unfold. And that's what the tournament's all about. So we've covered all the biggest takeaways from all the first 3 stages. Obviously, we all know what happened on the final stage. There's no reason to all go through it and talk about something different. So I think we should all just share our opinions on what happened at the final stage. And, you know, just because it was Fireball and you got told a victory, Fireball, why don't you kick it off? How'd you feel after that final stage attempt?
Oh my god, it's something completely different. I thought getting past the 3rd stage was just the best feeling ever, but being able to hit the landmine and having people, especially all the people I had for my run. I mean, you said it, that my stage 3 run had so many people. Just hearing everybody just cheer and yell, and you getting that feeling that you know you got total victory. It's a whole different feeling.
Yeah, well, Hunter, as a person who has been to the final stage and unfortunately not achieved total victory, what was it like for you watching Fireball do his run?
Well, I have to say, one of the few regrets I will have in Halo jumping is not being there to witness it. I've been lucky. I was able to watch Jobs total victory way back in the day. Watching the run, it was just so solid. That final stage, it's just proven to be so monstrous. I remember seeing GoTank struggle on it, and we didn't really get to see how tough that final stage was when it first came around. But I can remember watching Buddy do it in Tournament 12, and he looked like he had such a solid run, and still couldn't do it. Like, I know he made a couple of mistakes, but he just came up short. I knew it was doable, but I just thought it was so tough. And so to see Fireball's performance, he just absolutely crushed it. And he can now call himself a deserved grand champion.
100% deserved. And if you look back at the history of the final stage on this course, there have now been 15 attempts. Fireball was the 15th attempt at the final stage and the 10th different competitor to get there. It was crazy. So there's a few things that were different about this total victory. You know, Fireball was the first grand champion, and this isn't taking anything away from Buddy or Jop, because they are both incredible jumpers. But Fireball was the first competitor that I felt like really built up to that moment, you know? Buddy and Jop was like, oh, they're here. Oh my god, they got total victory. Where did that come from? But Fireball, you kind of saw this thing building up from tournament to tournament, and then it all paid off in Tournament 20. So that was that made it feel a lot more special to me. That wraps up the Tournament 20 analysis. Before we finish this video, though, one thing I want to jump into real quick. I just want everyone to come up with one thing going into Tournament 21, just some expectations. All right, well, let's give it one competitor to watch out for. So, Fireball, I'll let you start off, and then we'll just kind of go back in reverse order. Fireball, if you had to pick one competitor to watch out for in Tournament 21, who would it be?
Stray Felix.
Strafe Helix, interesting. So he's gotten to stage 2 in the last 2 tournaments, so we'll see how he does in 21. Hunter, anyone in mind?
Apart from myself, I am gonna say, I'm gonna say ROG. I'm gonna say RPG 445.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, you guys took my 2 favorite answers. I have no choice but to go with the one and only Itchy Crevice.
Oh my god.
I think Itchy Crevice is gonna come in huge in Tournament 21. So shout out to Itchy Crevice. I don't know if you're watching this video, but
4th grand champion, Tournament 21.
Alright, well, thanks guys for joining me for this Tournament 20 analysis and a little Tournament 21 preview. Hunter, Fireball, and I guess
Hey, Smokey.
even Z. Oh, wait. Alright, we gotta end it like this.
I'm going to bed.
Good night, Fireball. Oh! Hey! He did it. Alright.
Hey.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.
See you guys later.